Hello again, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Ruhr Report as my camera decides it wants to do its own thing. Okay, that's better. Okay, again, sorry for maybe the audio quality. I get most of you say it's okay, some of you say it's not okay. Again, this is my, third time trying to get new audio equipment. The major big city close to me is Columbus, Ohio, and my new audio equipment has been in Columbus, Ohio since Monday of last week, and it hasn't moved. And I have tried and tried, and I cannot get any movement or anything on this thing. So I may have to try for a fourth attempt to try and get new audio equipment. Bear with me for what it is. All right, so we're going to jump straight into the daily headlines coverage. I know daily I missed yesterday. I apologize for it. Had a few things. So there's a little bit more today. May even be a part 2. We'll see how it goes. Plus making a ton of other content and videos. I was really busy this weekend trying to get a bunch of things made. If everything pans out and I can get editing done and different things, I may have the next 2 weeks of videos. So you will see me 2 to 3 times a day. And that's not even including shorts. So, but I do want to give a shout out. I did have one of you reach out to me and ask or inform me of some major weather that's going to be up in my neck of woods. And if I remember right, you live in Texas, so it's great to see that people still care about other people. They sent me a nice little weather report saying, "Hey, major weather coming your way. Just want to make sure you're aware of it." Which, oddly enough, I just finished watching Ryan Hall from Ryan Hall, y'all, and his weather report, and I opened that email and saw it. So it's very touching that people still care about other people. So I appreciate that, as well as I've gotten quite a few people that have expressed a thanks for bringing on the Orlando Prepper and said that his comms videos that we talked about and that he's put out since then were really informative, and that it's really got them interested into upping their comms game. So I'm really excited that I'm helping people. So, but let's jump straight into this. So again, in no particular order, we're going to start out overseas, where Poland's foreign minister was in the news recently during an interview where he announced that European countries will develop their own nuclear weapons if the U.S. fails to support Ukraine. So with all the things going on and the money issues and running out of stockpiles and everything like that, the money starting to really dwindle, the supplies, the stocks, all that, the munitions is starting to go down, and everybody's really kind of begging and reporting on all this. And so basically Poland, and then there's 1 or 2 other countries that come out and said, hey, if the U.S. is starting to not be able to support, then maybe they can't support us. So we're just going to have to build our own nuclear stockpile. So it's kind of interesting. Just figure I'd throw that out there. Next is Bloomberg came out with an article and reported that the U.S. is afraid to impose serious sanctions. Get that? Okay. We'll throw out all the sanctions, which I had a conversation with one of you guys talking about the way sanctions are. All sanctions are is a piece of paper saying, hey, we did something about this. Okay. They don't really do anything. They're not used as intended. So Bloomberg said that the U.S. is afraid of serious sanctions out of fear of collapsing the global economy. Now, that's an interesting take because we are a global economy. Most countries are so interwoven and reliant on each other. And it's so odd if you go in and you look. The U.S. will grow avocados, but we send our avocados somewhere else, and somewhere else sends us their avocados. Why in the world do we not just keep our own stuff is beyond me. I don't understand. But everybody's so reliant on everybody else that it wouldn't take much to, have a little tiff with somebody and you go, all right, we're done with you. And then all of a sudden they fail and another one fails and you just have this big cascading domino effect. So there might be some validity behind that one. Now, yesterday, there were about 300,000, this is an estimated number, about 300,000 participated in a mostly peaceful protest that took place in Brazil in support of former Brazilian President Bolsonaro. Now, probably name rings a bell for most of you. He gave a speech, and there was a lot of pictures and everything. It looked like a pretty large crowd, and they're saying that this might be the most or the biggest turnout for a political event in Brazilian history. So it's kind of telling a little bit. Again, we don't know the full story. We only get the information that we're told. But I mean, some of these they kind of speak a little bit. So just data point that. Next, I just barely caught this, and this is interesting because this came out of a Greek newspaper that said that Turkey is under preparations for a large-scale war with Greece. That's extremely interesting, and I don't see a whole lot of info on this. I've been searching and searching and searching, and so far I'm not really coming up with a whole lot. If you know anything more, if you've heard anything, let me know. But that's pretty interesting news to be able to data point that and see how well that turns out. Next, there is a video that is on social media, again, making its rounds like all the different videos and pictures on social media normally do. But this one was a little interesting because this one showcases China's high-rise 15-minute city. So again, if you are telling people, hey man, you got to look out for these 15-minute cities, and they're going, man, put your tinfoil hat on, that's conspiracy theory, you're crazy, there's no such thing. There is, okay? You can go search. Just about every state has at least one of these plans drawn up, if not multiple. Some of them are actually in development right now. Now, China's already built theirs. Now, this 15-minute city is a high-rise building. There's about 20,000 residents living in this building, and each of these complexes, or whatever you want to call them, are equipped with their own supermarkets, their own shops, hairdressers, and pharmacies. Now, the interesting part, though, is that some of these grocery stores and places inside are now requiring their customers to verify their V passport in order to even enter these facilities. And the way that they're doing it is with facial recognition scans as well as a QR code. So it looks like China's starting to re-implement their Charlie Victor 19er policy. So interesting take on that, okay? Pinpoint that and hold that into your head for a little while. Next, Putin come out pretty strongly, and he was quoted that, and I'm going to read this as a quote. So, if Ukraine joins NATO, I will bomb NATO with nuclear weapons so quickly that it will not have time to implement Article 5, end quote, okay? So that's a pretty big, bold statement. Now, again, is it something to lose your head over? No, but it's an interesting choice of words that he came out, and there's no beating around the bush. There's no guessing what he means. That was a pretty, elaborate and, almost dangerous statement to make. Now, here's the thing. Do you really want to find out if he's bluffing? Now you've got different choices on that. You can either scurry away and back away and all that, or you can push the limits, or you can hold the line. I mean, you figure out what you want to do with that, but that's a pretty big statement to make. Now, again, actions have to follow a statement for anything to become, true on all that. Hopefully, we'll never find out if he was really serious or not. Okay, fingers crossed on that. Next, this one's also an interesting one. So now it's coming to the news that there has been 4 undersea cables that have reportedly been cut. These were places that are affecting Saudi Arabia, Djibouti, and some of the other countries. The rumors are already starting to swirl on this, that, this was the Houthis. Okay, now here's the thing. So far, this is only coming from a single source, which is Israeli news, okay, which is kind of an interesting take on why they're the only ones reporting on this that I can find, at least as of recording this. So single source may or may not be the most reliable on this. Now, there is some validity coming out where you can go in and you can see that there's a lot of different communications where, you see your peaks and valleys, and all of a sudden it just drops to nothing. Now, here's the thing. The Houthis did threaten that they were going to do this. The big question is I personally don't believe on their own that they even have that capability. So either they got some help, either this is a false flag, or something else is at play here. So it's extremely interesting to see all this as it unfolds. So another one, put a pin, keep it in the back of your mind. All right, so moving on, the New York Times has come out and gave the report that the White House has decided to send a limited number of troops to Ukraine. Yes, that is boots on the ground inside of Ukraine. Now, I know we've had people there, okay? It's no big secret that we have Americans inside of Ukraine. But this is actually admitting to sending armed boots on the ground. And this is also coming out and being confirmed when Macron was asked about this, saying that based on the West's decision, that European countries have not ruled this out and that's still on the table because Russia must lose this war. So they're backpedaling a little bit and saying, hey, we haven't committed to this. Not that we're saying we're not going to, but it's on the table and we're discussing it. So again, we're talking about a lot of things that we probably should pay attention. Keep a little note, keep it right there in the back of your mind, because some of these can have some very major impacts. So moving on. So the North CIG fire, which is currently in Texas, has consumed about 2,500 acres and Moore County. It looks like they've kind of gotten a little bit more of a headway with this. They're calling it about 50% contained right now. I saw some of the pictures and whatnot. I'm going to try and continue to follow up. I know there's quite a few of you that live in Texas and whatnot, so maybe you can help me out and kind of keep me a little bit in the loop on that. But let's go back to the White House, because the current resident of the Oval Office has announced that he is going to, 3 years into this, go visit the U.S.-Mexico border. And he's going to go there this Thursday. So it's quite interesting on the take, because on their own words from the White House, there is no crisis. There's no such thing. Everything's cool. Then why are you going to go down there? This is nothing but a PR stunt. This is nothing but saving face. Nothing's going to be done, and I don't know technically if you could even go in and do anything about it. So it's going to be interesting to see what their play is. If they're going to go down, they're going to do some secure spot and go, look, I told you, here I am. There's nobody crossing. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's going to be interesting how they take this. So we'll wait and see how Thursday rolls. Now, according to 2 U.S. Army officials, they're basically coming out and saying that without a 2024 budget approval as well as additional funding, so keep that in mind right there, they need their budget approved from 2024 and additional funding. Otherwise, the U.S. military is going to be completely out of money by this summer. And they're saying that this is affecting everything from replenishment to training to everything that's overseas right now. They're saying that this is a pretty serious matter. I'm not entirely sure I believe 100% of that, but then again, where are we at with the U.S. economy? Okay, well, let's take a quick peek. If you haven't seen this, this is somewhat making the rounds in the underground that hasn't quite hit mainstream or social media so much that I've seen. Let me know if you've heard about this. So, JP Morgan CEO, Mr. Jamie Dillon, has sold off $150 million of JP Morgan stock. Now, Jeff Bezos has sold off 8.5 billion, that's a B, billion, of Amazon stock. Mark Zuckerberg sold off 428 million of Meta Holdings. Bill Gates has sold 65% of his entire portfolio. Okay, not 65 million or anything like that. He has sold off 65% of his entire portfolio. The Walton family has sold 4.5 billion of the Walton holdings. And all of this, everything that I just said, has all happened within the past few weeks. Okay, so take that for what you will. Usually the people that have the most money get the information first. And while this is not something that absolutely 100% proves that something's coming, you usually don't see movement like this unless, there's going to be something. Now, I'm not a financial expert. I'm not telling you what to do with any of your stuff. You make that decision all on your own. It would be a good idea to make sure that you are prepared the best that you can. And taking a step back from the news for a second, uh, if you were to ask me what I am personally doing to prepare, it is diversity. So you're going to keep some of your stuff in the bank in order to function normally in case nothing happens. Then you're going to make sure you have cash on hand. You're going to make sure that you have things, hard assets, food, water, medical, things like that, hard actual assets in your hand. Then you're going to want to make sure that you preserve a little bit. So precious metals, even if you go, look, man, I cannot afford gold. That's $2,000 an ounce. I just can't do it. Okay. Try silver, try copper, get something to where that metal is not going to go to zero. Even if you buy aluminum, okay, aluminum's never going to go to zero. Now it's going to go up, it's going to go down, but it'll never be zero. You will never have a precious metal that'll go to zero. Okay. If it ever does, okay, then we're probably in far more world of hurt to where it's not going to matter anyway. Keep in mind that when a lot of these economies around the world in history collapse, people that had a small amount of precious metals, they had a couple of gold coins, okay, whether it was handed down to them, whether they earned it through whatever, they had a few small gold coins that while the economy was good, it would give them a life of luxury for a short period of time. During the extreme collapse of things, that same couple of coins would buy them 50 acres, a house, and a whole bunch of other things because the value of it skyrocketed. So they were able to preserve their wealth. Okay. You do what you want to do. I'm just saying, over the weekend, I picked up a little bit. As soon as it comes in the mail, I will show you a few of the things that I bought. I'm not going to show you everything. All right, so to get back on track, we're going to finish up here. So yesterday there was a major fire at a cattle barn. This happened in Rock Island, Illinois. There's a little bit on it. If you want to go read about it, you can. Just wanted to give a little bit of a heads up that there is a cattle barn on fire. It's another thing going into, the beef industry and all that. So. And then the last thing, and I'm sure most of you have seen this because this hit everywhere, was the U.S. soldier that set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. Now, he did this after setting himself on fire, started screaming to free Palestine. Later, he was taken to the hospital where ultimately he died from his wounds. So we will see how all that turns out. The weather is going to eventually turn warm. We will see what that does. I'm sure that this is probably going to be a pretty crazy year. I'm sure that this is not going to be just the regular run of the mill where a few crazy things happen here or there. There's a few top stories in the news and life just continues to go on. Now, I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to do anything like that. What I want to do is I want to help any way that I can. So if I can teach you a skill, if I can open your mind, if I can convince you or help you to convince somebody else to get just a little bit better prepared, then it's all worthwhile. Okay. And go ask somebody that's just starting out making their channel, which, by the way, I'm closing my book. Go ask somebody that's just starting out, somebody that's got 20, 30 subscribers, and ask them how much time and effort and everything it is to do a YouTube channel. When you start getting into social media, it almost becomes more work than my regular 40-hour job that I do to support my family. And to keep in mind, as you guys have seen, we have become fully monetized as a channel. And I think year to date, I am at like $22 made. So this is not a get-rich scheme by any means. but since it is making money, I will thank you, because that means some of you are watching, at least a few seconds of ads, and those pennies are starting to add up. But as things develop and as time goes on, that money will indeed grow, and we will turn around and we're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be doing some stuff to charity. We're going to be helping out a bunch of people. Keep in mind that if you are interested, there is always the link at every single video down in the description that you can go to the official merchandise store and check out. I post a lot of stuff in there. I try and add a couple of new things about once a month or so. And then the proceeds of that, which if you go find, most of that stuff is probably cheaper than anywhere else, because I'm not trying to get rich. Most of those coffee mugs are $5, $5.50, something like that. T-shirts are usually $10, $12. I try and keep it low to where I'm making like $1 an item or less. And then we take a lot of that, part of that will go to charity. The rest of it will go to buying a few things to be doing giveaways so I can give back to you, because I want to be able to say thank you for spending a little bit of time and supporting the channel and things like that. And I really want to appreciate it. I've got some pretty big things in the works as far as giveaways. I've actually been talking to somebody that is going to have a couple of very special items that I think some of you guys would be very interested to get. I'm also getting a few custom things made that I think a few of you would really like to get. We'll be doing some of those giveaways when we hit our 500th video, which is coming up very, very soon. We'll be doing a pretty big giveaway once we hit 2,000 subscribers, which we're only like 75 or so away. So that's pretty close. So make sure that in order for me to get to 2,000 subscribers, make sure you tell your friends, family, anybody you care about that might take an interest into this channel, because once we reach it, we'll do a fun giveaway, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. Keep in mind that we do have the seed exchange going on, so if you want to get in on that, just go check out the video for the seed exchange. I explain everything. Or if you know anybody, or you yourself are financially struggling and you cannot afford seeds, let me know. The channel will send you free seeds, completely free of charge. No names, no mentions. We don't want anything, which I do want to say, we've already had 2 people ask, and we've already sent out 2 packages to help people. So this is working. We are helping people. So I want to say thank you to everybody that's donated seeds so far. You have helped somebody. So thank you for that. That's all I've got. So if you made it to this far in the video, guess what? You rock. I appreciate you for spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you guys have an amazing day and a very blessed day. And with that, I want to say that stay tuned. There's more information to come. And above all else, please remember to remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.